Hey guys, so today we have a little bit of a different video. First of all, I'm back in the car. It's been, I feel like, a really long time since I've done a car chat. It really hasn't been that long, but I'm in between jobs right now, so I'm spending a lot of time at home. I'm not really, going a lot of places. I no longer have a lunch break, so a lot of times I would do a little vlog during my lunch break, and now that I don't have that, it is what it is. So I am loving being at home right now, and it's just been really nice to have an open schedule and not feel like, my job that I left was causing a lot of stress. It was one of those positions that you couldn't really turn off. So I spent a lot of times in the evenings texting and answering the phone if it rang. And many times it wasn't just a quick phone call, like a hi, bye. It was questions and wanting to have a conversation about things. And so, it was fine while it lasted, but I'm really happy that I no longer have that demand to feel like, oh, my phone might ring when we're at dinner tonight and I'll feel bad if I don't answer it. I'm so glad that chapter is gone. And in my new position, it will not involve after hours, anything really. Once in a while, based on what I understand, once in a while there might be an email that needs to be forwarded, but that's never a big deal. It's the answering the phone and answering questions and having a conversation that can become very cumbersome when you're at home in the evenings and you only have at least for me and my boyfriend, he doesn't get off till 8 o'clock. So luckily he works close by, but let's just say he gets home by 8:20. I go to bed by 11. So that only gives us a short little window of time where we can talk and catch up or, whatever. Like, long story short, I'm really glad that I am done with the really demanding position. And yeah, so today, the reason that I'm doing this video, aside from feeling like I haven't done one in a little while, is that I am going to get my ears pierced. And not my normal ears, because I obviously already have those done. I'm going to get 2 different piercings. I have an idea of what I want, but I'm also going to talk to my piercer. It's the same guy that pierced my nose for me, because I just want to talk to him about kind of like pain level, because I'll be really honest, I am a total wimp when it comes to pain. I have a really low pain tolerance, and I'm just not someone who signs myself up to experience pain. But I really want to get my ears pierced. It's been something on my list for a while, and I recently experienced something that really just reminded me how short life is. And so instead of putting it off, I'm going to go do it today. And so that's what we're going to do. And I know that some people might be watching this and being like, oh, it's just getting your ears pierced. It's not that serious. But I look at it like, if it's something really small that I can do for myself, then I'm going to do it. I'm not going to put it off. And, I think of when Brianna Kay was giving out that advice of, oh, well, if you're upset, just move to Hawaii. I'm not talking about stuff like that. That's like completely just not feasible and completely just out of the realm for 95% of the population. So, but if it's something really small, I do fully agree with, you know, if you've been wanting to get a tattoo for a while and you've been putting it off, get the tattoo. If there's, you know, this clothing item that you've had your eye on for a really long time, buy it for yourself. Like, you know, and I obviously always say, like, don't make a habit of always treating yourself. But if it's something that you feel like you have really had your eye on and you've just been putting it off for whatever reason, just pull the trigger, treat yourself, buy yourself that candle, you know, go out to eat at that restaurant that you've been putting off for a while, because life really is so short when you take a step back and look at it. And I don't mean to, I don't want to get like, I don't want to set the mood for this video to be sad or really serious, but I will share more in the future. But as a general idea, I've always looked at it like, you know, life is really short, and sometimes during our lives we get reminders of that, and it is what it is. So you can either look at the reminder and take something from it, or not. Either way is good, whatever suits you. I ended up getting a haircut yesterday because I felt like I wanted just like a trim, and it's actually like kind of feeling like it's a little bit too short. I always get to that point where I'm like, okay, my hair's at a really good length, let me get a trim. But a trim, when you have short hair, can turn out to be too short. And now I feel like watching like 3 weeks from now, my hair will be like the perfect length, like, you know, the length for my preferences. It'll be perfect, but I hate when it feels too short. I really do. And I know, oh, how dare her complain about the length of her hair. People make me laugh. And I mentioned this in another video. I know some people will wonder why, if I have a low pain tolerance, why I have tattoos. And the way that I explain my pain threshold when it comes to tattoos is, I've always kind of felt like, depending on the location, a tattoo is sort of like scraping on the skin. It doesn't go like really deep, whereas a piercing obviously goes completely through the skin. And I don't want to go into details and make it, you know, super descriptive for you guys, but I always feel like that's kind of the best way for me to describe tattooing, is it's sort of like a scraping instead of it being really abrasive and painful. Hopefully that makes sense. My most painful tattoo location is my rib cage. That was really, really painful, and I guess it's just because when you think about your rib cage, there's just not a lot of muscle there, or like there's skin, but the skin isn't very thick, and there's not a lot of room in between the skin and the actual rib cage. So that for me was super sensitive, and that was a lot to sit through. I think that tattoo took about, I think it was maybe 2 hours total, from the time I sat down to the time it was done. I can't remember. It's been a while since I had that done. And my wrist was pretty sensitive too, just because, you know, I have pretty small wrists and not a lot of muscle there either. So, anyway, both were worth it. The tattoo on my rib cage is a quote from my grandmother, And I've shown my wrist tattoos before, but my favorite one is this one, and it's my grandmother's signature. So I took her signature off of her U.S. naturalization certificate when she, she was Latvian. So she signed that, and I have the document. So I took that signature off of the document, and I didn't take it off, but I took the document to my tattoo artist, and she traced it and tattooed it on me. That was a really quick tattoo, but it was very, very meaningful, and I'm so happy that I had that done. And one day, I don't know when, but one day I'm also going to get my dad's signature on me as well. I don't know if I'll get it on my wrist or somewhere else, but I'll figure it out. My dad has a really cool signature. I used to look at his signature, and when I would want to like sign permission slips or, try to attempt to, have a sick note from my dad, I was always like, how in the hell am I going to copy his signature? It's so precisely one of a kind. He just has a signature that is like impossible to forge. It really is. I don't think I'd ever be able to do it. So anyway, guys, I am almost at the piercing place, so I will check in with you guys. I'm not going to film inside because they have very strict guidelines because of the panini still. So they said that I could have brought someone with me. If my boyfriend was home, I would have brought him and had him film the procedure for me, but he's working and it is what it is. So I will check in with you guys as soon as I'm done. Hello guys, I'm back. So there is my little piercing right there. I don't want to touch it, but I'm so happy. So I only got that piercing today because I'll be really honest, you guys, I have a history of passing out very easily, and since I came here alone, I didn't really want to like overdo it and then end up like passing out or not feeling like I was good enough to drive myself home. I'm just like a huge wimp when it comes to pain and whatever, like a lot of people are like that, but I have to say, anytime I've gotten a piercing, whether it's my cartilage, which my cartilage I took out years ago and it's healed. I used to have 4 cartilage piercings, and my nose, obviously my earlobes, but I was pretty young when I had my earlobes done. I pierced my second hole myself when I was in middle school. Terrible idea. But I did have that for a couple years. Luckily, it didn't get infected. So, but what I was going to say, anytime I've gotten a piercing done, the buildup and the anxiety is always way worse than the actual procedure itself. It just is what it is. I'm a really anxiety-filled person when it comes to things that I know are coming up, and I will work myself up and then the thing will happen. Here's another example. When it comes to me getting my blood drawn is always, oh my God, there's a Doberman picture right in front of me. So anyway, oh my God, that dog is so cute. Oh, getting my blood drawn. That's another really great example of something that I know is going to happen, and I work myself up for the day or, a couple of hours before the appointment, and then the appointment comes and goes, and it's not that bad. But I'll tell you guys why I'm so bad with, especially with getting my blood drawn. And that is because I have had so many, I guess you would call them nurses, lab techs. I have small veins, and especially when I'm cold, my veins hide. And so I've always had trouble, they want to poke and prod. That's what causes the anxiety. It's not actually like getting my blood drawn, because when I've had nurses or lab techs that actually, they know what they're doing, they, will usually do like a warm compress, and they're just a little bit more experienced, with working with small veins and things like that. So it's usually okay, but because of those few times that they couldn't get a vein and they poked me, like 8 times, that's where I'm like, hold on, now I'm going to have anxiety, because I'm going to think that it's always that way, even though it's not. That's kind of part of the reason why I have a lot of anxiety, but I'm really happy about my little ear piercing. And I'm going to go back and we are going to do like my lower cartilage, my upper lobe, because what I eventually would like to do is be able to wear a hoop there. And yeah, so I'm excited. I didn't want to, I could have probably done both in one sitting, but I just remember that time when I got my cartilage done, and they also pierced my cartilage with a gun. That was terrible. If you want to get piercings and they try to pierce it with a gun, please leave and reschedule and go to an actual like piercing place, because piercing places, based on what I've seen, they don't usually pierce with guns. Places in the mall like Piercing Pagoda or those kinds of places, they will use guns, and the gun can cause a lot of trauma to that area on top of trying to heal a piercing. So they used they pierced 2 on each side for my cartilage, and I got up and I passed out. Literally, I was 20 feet from the piercing place, and I got on the escalator with my mom, and we were standing there, and all I remember is my mom asked me, "Are you okay?" Because she must have been able to tell that I had that like glazed over look. And I said yes, and then I passed out. So it was a whole scene. They ended up like calling EMS, and I literally woke up and I was on like the floor in the middle of the mall. It was so embarrassing. And I was also still in high school, so I was like, please Lord, don't let anyone from school see me here passed out. Teenage embarrassment. It's now looking back, I'm like, really, like, who cares about that? It's not that serious. But being young and already not having a very good time in high school made me very anxious about possibly seeing someone from school, or having someone see me, I should say. So anywho, guys, I need to make my way home, and I need to give Axel some dinner and take him outside, and then I also need to figure out what we're going to have for dinner. I really cannot stand having to figure out what's for dinner, and I know that that's such a stupid thing to complain about, but I don't know, I feel like we always make the same things because it's just easy, and sometimes I feel like cooking and sometimes I don't. Like, I don't know, I think that that's something that all of us go through, is just, I don't feel like cooking today. What are you going to do about it? I need to start stop and get some of the saline solution for my ear. I usually just use, actually I can just make the mixture. I can make it myself. All it is distilled water with sea salt, and I make it and put it in a spray bottle so that you can easily clean the area. I can just do it that way. Those spray salines, if you try to do them if you try to buy them at the actual piercing place, they're super expensive. It's like $15 a bottle or something like that. And even if you go to the drugstore and buy them, they're really expensive. And I feel like you go through them so quickly. I remember when I got my nose done, I felt like I went through a bottle of that stuff like every 3 days. It was insane because I was trying to be really diligent and follow instructions, keep it really clean and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like how is it gone already? I feel like I literally just bought this. I also ended up I'm focusing on my left ear right now to get pierced because I sleep on my right side, and I also wear my ear pod on my right side. And especially with a piercing like what I just got, you can't wear ear pods. At least it's encouraged to not wear earbuds when you get that pierced. So I didn't want to take a risk. And you're also not allowed to submerge your piercings in water, but luckily I can easily do that. I can still go to the pool and stuff and just not, stay underwater or get underwater. So either way, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will update you guys when I get my next piercing. But for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.